Hiya, it's Mariah. I hope you all are well. I'm certainly doing quite okay. I'm glad to be back on track and finally doing more trans life / trans education videos because that's what today's video is going to be. First though, I do have a few shout outs. One is to my friend Zeke, who recently, when I didn't have my food stamps in yet and I was low on food, he recently bought me a whole bunch of groceries and sent them to my hotel room. So thank you very much. And another shout out to Sloan. For anybody here who is also subscribed to her, you might notice she hasn't uploaded in a while. I'm not going into detail, but she's going through a very rough time. But you know, Sloan, I love you, girl. I guess a third shout out to one of my poly lovers. I know her as Danielle. You guys might know her as Shanisha Taylor. You only have one video on YouTube right now, but I bet you people would watch if you made more. Speaking of, before I get into, let me back up a little bit. Danielle, or Shanisha, whatever you want to call her, or whatever she prefers to be called by you, really. Her video is about mental health issues, or mental health in general. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I am soon to start a series / a playlist on mental health myself. But for now, we shall continue with the Trans Life playlist. And yes, I do still have the paper and pen so that I can write down and check mark. Excuse me. This is the tea that Zeke bought me. It's English breakfast tea, but I've added strawberry syrup, and boy, is it delicious. It's great. Anyway, I want to start off with a recap for this Trans Life series. In my first a look into my Trans Life video, a look into my Trans Life part 1 and 2, actually. They were the same video separated into 2 parts. And with those two videos, what I did was I went back to my childhood when I discovered I was transgender, and before I even realized what the word for it was, and warning, it is a tale of abuse, it is a tale of trauma, but there are happy moments in it as well. But content warning and trigger warnings. There are mentions of self-harm. There's mentions of degradation from myself and from other people. And it does mention violence. So just to prepare you if you do go back and decide to start at the beginning of this playlist. But after that, I got into a few things, like the definition of transgender, which, again, just to recap, to be transgender essentially means that your gender identity and your sex assigned at birth differ from one another, and by extension, the body you were born with and your brain do not agree with one another. It's not some mental disorder where your wires are crossed in your nuts or anything, and you just think you're the opposite gender. No, I am literally a woman who was born with a penis and, grew up with a flat chest and grew hair on my face, and my brain is literally wired as a female. I literally have the brain of a female. And it's a lot more complicated than that, but that's just to theorize and sum it up. We also touched on a few stereotypes within the trans community, subtle ones and ones that are not so subtle. We will touch again on stereotypes, most likely in this video, actually. We touched a little on medical discrimination, and like I said in the video I talked about it in, there's not really much to say other than there are medical professionals who have refused trans people treatment because they're trans. And you guys might have heard that notification come in, I'm not sure. But yeah, there are literally people who are not able to get medical treatment because basically their doctor is, this is putting it unprofessionally, but a giant piece of shit. Okay, so we went into blatant disrespect, and I told you guys about 2 specific incidents that had happened to me at where I was working at the time, and microaggression, which to remind you what microaggressions are, they're little, usually they're subtle, and most of the time they come with verbally. Microaggressions are little subtle things in something in a group might say to someone. It's a milder form of gaslighting. But anyway, if you want to know more about microaggression, either go back to that video or the first few videos, or Google it, whatever you want to do. Now today, sorry. I also had an interview with a friend of mine. I don't really I'm not really in contact with them anymore. I'd rather not go into details about what happened, but this person is bi gender, and I had an interview with them. So if you want to see that interview, it was in my most previous episode of Trans Education / Trans Life, and it was my super episode, as it was over an hour long, and it started as a day in the life and then ended with an interview with them. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Sorry. That tea is really good. Thank you, Zeke. Okay, now, today, specifically, I want to start by getting into a few more stereotypes, and these might be stereotypes I mentioned in the first video, but here goes again, because I've got more energy to describe now. Stereotypes happen a lot. Within a lot of groups, there are stereotypes that happen, in big groups, small groups, stereotypes happen everywhere, every day. But today we're going to talk about stereotypes of the trans community. Stereotypes can differ in the trans community. There are even trans people who stereotype other trans people, and that's called gatekeeping, by the way. Well, gatekeeping they tie together. They're not necessarily the same thing. I'll talk about gatekeeping later too. In fact, let me write that down. But stereotypes. There are many, many stereotypes about the trans community in general. One of the most common being that we're confused. And that we don't know who we are, or, we don't know what we like, In trans kids, it's often seen as a phase, and most of the time those kids grow up still trans, and they're like, well, that's a long-ass phase, Mom. But sometimes, unfortunately, they grow up confused. But this stereotype in particular of trans people being confused individuals and not knowing, what we like, and, just having, quote, confusion about our gender in general. Let me tell you, confusion about your gender is a whole different thing than being trans. If you're trans and you can say you're trans, you already know. So in that regard, you are not confused if you're watching this and you're trans, or under that umbrella in general, if you're trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming, any of that, you're valid, and you obviously know at this point, I can say with 100% certainty I'm a woman. And yeah, I'm a trans woman. So, okay. But that's the first stereotype. Don't let anybody tell you you're not who you think you are. Now, another stereotype about the trans community, I've seen this most often. There's not going to be much editing in this video, by the way. You guys are just going to see this whole thing. So you're going to hear my slip-ups and my, speech mistakes and everything. But another stereotype, I've seen this most commonly thrown at trans women. There are a lot of people who think that trans women are just, men who either think they're women or try to convince the world that they are women, and the stereotype I'm referring to here is that, all trans women are sex workers. One, there's nothing wrong with being a sex worker, but two, this is also indicating that all trans women are either poor or consistently horny, or a little both, could be one or the other, but no. Trans women are not all sex workers. I'll go ahead and tell you now. I'm not going to tell you exactly how, but I happen to be a sex worker. I'm not one on the streets, if that, Hell, I can tell you I have an OnlyFans, and there's nothing wrong with that. But not all trans women are sex workers. A lot of us have had to resort to sex work because of, the workplace not supporting us like it should, our family, not giving us enough support, or we just have, a lot to spend our money on, and we need a side hustle, and that's one of the easiest ways to make money, is to sell nudes. It's one of the safest forms of sex work. But one, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, two, we don't all do that. Not all of us need to. Some of us that do it actually want to. But that's a story for another day. I, for one, love doing it. But anyway, let's try to stay on the trans topic here. So, yeah, one of those stereotypes is that all trans women are sex workers. I've seen trans men be stereotyped that way too. It was more so because of how they dress, but there could be a lot more reasoning behind that stereotype. But another stereotype that kind of ties in with this one is that trans people are all slutty, or just all bisexual or pan in general. No, this is not true. One, there's nothing wrong with being a slut. I'm a big old slut myself. Sometimes I exaggerate just how much, but I am. So a slut just means you enjoy sex a lot. But not all of us are that way. There are people who, I should get more into this in another video, there's a such thing as asexuality, and there are other things that fall under that umbrella, such as demisexuality. I can't give you a flat-out definition of asexual just yet in this video. Go look it up if you can, if you want to, and also look up demisexual. Actually, I'm able to brief you on demisexual. It's under the asexual umbrella, but demisexual means you generally don't form a sexual attraction to someone unless you've bonded heavily otherwise. Really gotten to know the person. Well, I guess levels still depend, but that's anyway. There's a lot of sex stereotypes with trans people. Now I know I mentioned this one, and I think it was my second trans life video. It was my first trans education video. One of the stereotypes with trans men, is that when they start their testosterone, that, they're all fine at first, but then they turn aggressive, they turn into monsters, they turn mean. Not usually the case. It can happen, but it's not always just a result of the testosterone in general. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a trans male and you're seeing this, or if you just know better in general, correct me if I'm not right. But I think that testosterone can enhance your it can enhance some of the chemicals that might make someone aggressive, but it doesn't happen all the time, and two, sometimes it's not even because of the testosterone. People need to just drop that thought altogether. Testosterone doesn't just automatically make you aggressive and mean. But I think it does enhance certain chemicals. But enough about that, because I might accidentally enforce something here that isn't true. But, yeah, that's one of the major stereotypes I hear about trans men. And if you're seeing this video and you have something to add to something I said, or if something I said was incorrect, please tell me down in the comments. Please do. But yeah, I guess I want to talk about pronoun validation next. If somebody tells you that, if somebody at your workplace you perceive as male tells you that they are a woman non-playfully, and you shouldn't really joke about it all that like that anyway, but if they tell you dead ass that they're a female and want to be referred to as she, her, hers, respect that, because 9 times out of 10 that's a trans woman. And trans women are women. Therefore, we should be treated with the same respect and the same, basically, if you walk around calling cisgender women bitches, which is fucked up if they don't want to be called that, the way you treat cis women is the way you'll treat trans women. I'm not encouraging stupid behavior. I'm not encouraging violence. But if that's the way you treat women, treat us that way too. Who knows? You might learn a lesson, if you haven't already, from your ex-wife. Anyway, enough of the... I wasn't talking about anyone specific, by the way, you guys. I just know there have been a ton of those particular situations. I need to clean my glasses. Like I said, there will be no editing to this video. You're going to see this entire thing as if I went live. I didn't. Okay. But yeah, on a similar token, trans men are men. Not women who think they're men. Not just butch lesbians. No, trans men are men. Trans women are women. But like of the same token, if someone at your workplace you perceive as female tells you that they're a man, respect that. You should treat everybody with the same amount of respect. That means trans men, trans women, cis men, cis women, non-binary individuals, gender non-conforming, by gender, wherever you fall under that spectrum, don't be afraid to ask your coworkers to respect you. This doesn't only apply to the workplace. This applies, everywhere you are on a day-to-day basis. I'm not going to necessarily go through Kroger and a woman I might never see again bumps into me and goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir." Unfortunately, I'm not going to have the time or energy to deal with that at that point. It's like she said, "Excuse me." She moved along. I might never see her again. But if it's somebody that you talk to all the time, and I'm not saying that you have to, automatically have the courage to do this. There are many reasons why people may not. But if it's somebody you hang around all the time, say, for instance, a coworker. Coworkers are good examples in this case. Oh, excuse me. But eventually, if you have that job long enough and you already know you're trans or under the trans umbrella, eventually, I'm going to say maybe 7 times out of 10, you're going to want to tell somebody at your job. Namely your boss, unless your boss has been actively known to be transphobic, in which case, that would be me. But, and it was me. Well, sort of. Anyway, back on track. See, what were we talking about here? Pronoun validation. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, there are even people within the trans community who tend to invalidate other members of the trans community. Pronoun validation falls under gatekeeping, to an extent, in my opinion. there are trans people on the binary spectrum that don't believe in non-binary or gender fluid or gender non-conforming or even gender queer. I hate to see that within my own community. It shames me. It hurts. I hate to hear a member of the trans community tell another trans person to pick a gender, or try and figure out, basically try and figure out which side you're on, or, it's like, why are you dressed like a gay farmer if you're a woman? Or it's just, it's bullshit, and it's stupid. See, I guess this is more like just a recap of what we've talked about before, because like I said, I don't really know how long this video is going to be or what I'm really going to talk about. But this is another trans life or trans education video. So, on another token, surrounding validation in general of the trans community, I'm going to get into gatekeeping now. If Jolene is a trans woman and she hangs around Elizabeth, a cis woman, all the time. One day Jolene and Elizabeth are hanging out, and Elizabeth says something along the lines of, Jolene, I've noticed lately that, no, let me come up with a slightly different example. Like, this is my brother from another mother, Jolene, to somebody, in like a restaurant or a library or wherever you are. Pick a place. Jolene turns to Elizabeth and says, excuse me, I appreciate that, but I'm your sister, not your brother. Well, I mean, you weren't presenting like a female today, so, so I just assumed. Therein lies Elizabeth's issue. She assumed. If Jolene has expressed that she wants to be referred to as a female all the time, you respect that. It doesn't matter if she hasn't shaved in 3 days. Maybe she couldn't afford it. Maybe she didn't find the time. Who cares? Or maybe maybe Jolene likes her beard. Yes, you can be a woman and like your facial hair. Yeah, maybe Jolene just likes her beard, or like I said, couldn't find the time to shave in the past 3 days. That's a thing, Oh, well, she's still dressed like a gay farmer, so she looks like a man. I mean, I'm addressing her as a man because that's how she presents. No. Because all the while, you're still going to be misgendering her. You're going to be disrespecting her blatantly. If this is not your intention, you need to stop. And I'm not talking to anyone specifically named Elizabeth or Jolene. Those are just two names that popped in my head. But in situations like that, as a trans person, I am telling you this. Do not stop gendering someone correctly because they don't fit your idea of who they tell you they are. Yeah, this is turning into more of a trans rights rant, which is okay. I'm a little rusty on this particular video series, but I should be able to, even if I have to write something down, even if I have to write down a speech or something and upload it, I will. But anyhow, validation goes a long way, especially in the trans community, because I don't care if Jolene, like I said, hasn't shaved in 4 days, is wearing no makeup, has short hair. Okay? I don't care if Jolene's voice sounds like fucking Johnny Cash. If she says my name's not Johnny, it's Jolene, you respect that. Okay? I don't care how brainwashed you've been by society. This is very easy to understand what I'm saying right now. There are people who will deny this, or there are actually people who may not understand, which is totally valid too. But willful ignorance is also a thing. If you don't understand and you're not willing to listen to somebody in order to understand, you're still just as messed up as you were before. This is still a rant, but it's a slightly higher quality rant than when I was using that god-awful laptop camera. Let's see. When I clean all this rust off of my of my brain or wherever it is, or when I stop being rusty, when I get less rusty on talking about these things, I will be uploading videos to this playlist that talk about maybe 1 or 2 subjects per video. Right now, I am just kind of recapping and ranting about our rights. But away from the negativity for a few minutes here, there are actually positive things going on for the trans community right now. For one, if you guys have seen a lot of my other videos, then you may have heard me mention that, as a person who loves and appreciates art and attempts to make it myself, I not only look at content that's for my own age group, I look at current children's content as well. Not just current content, maybe content that I watched as a child too. But that aside, Nickelodeon, I've recently discovered, is in high support of the trans community, trans kids in general, because Nickelodeon is a kids station. It's a kids channel, but I've recently seen advertisements and commercials in total support of the T part of LGBT. I've known for a while that they're supportive in general of the LGB, but until recently I never knew how supportive of the T they were. Very. Very. And thank you, Nickelodeon. Not sponsored. Oh, that would be awesome. Oh, that would be amazing. Somebody please try to get word to Nickelodeon out there. There's a YouTuber, me, that, or I could just try to reach him myself. Call Nickelodeon Studios and go, "Hi, I'm a trans woman and I do YouTube." I don't think I'll say it like that. But yeah. Well, I'm gulping that tea down now that it's not so hot. That's one positive thing that has happened within the trans community lately. In another video, I might just get into celebrities who are trans. Maybe specifically some trans women of color. I'll have to think about that, because the only one that really comes to mind is Laverne Cox. But I'll think about that. You guys give me names if you want to in the comments section. Names of trans celebrities, male and female, or non-binary, or gender non-conforming that you know. So yeah. In fact, I think Sam Smith. Isn't Sam Smith non-binary? Isn't Sam Smith a they them pronoun? Oh, well, anyway, I can look that up. But, I appreciate you guys. If you've made it 36 minutes and 30 seconds into the video, just with me ranting about trans in general. Thank you. Thank you. Jesus. But yeah, in the next time I upload, I'll try to be a little more prepared, so that I can talk about one or two specific subjects. Like, stereotypes are probably going to be talked about in a lot of these videos, but I want to get in depth with schools. I want to get in depth with how we're treated in the medical field, how Hollywood has treated us and sometimes still does. I want to get into those subjects, but I want to make whole videos on those subjects. So like I said, this video is just me this video is me trying to, get my flow back on talking about these things. I'm also going to be talking about organized religion and how it, affects the trans community. Fuck. I might talk about fuck eventually. Sex education is very important, so I might talk about that at some point, but yeah, but I'm going to be talking about organized religion. I'm going to talk more about gender nonconforming and gender fluidity. My good friend Crystal, mother of my godson, CJ. But Crystal, if you are watching this, or next time I contact you, and you would like to come onto my channel and talk about your gender fluidity or gender nonconformity, whichever one it is, or if it's both, please, come on my channel, because my viewers could use, especially those who are willing to educate themselves, could use some education specifically on gender fluidity or nonconformity. And if you're watching this and you're trans or anywhere under the trans umbrella and you have a story to share with me, or you would like to eventually come over to my channel, or if you're just one of my friends and want to be on my channel eventually, whether we talk about trans stuff or not, tell me in the comments section, or message me if you have my contact info. I am actually probably just going to end this video in a little bit, but not before I tell you guys this. I'm about as active on Instagram as I am on YouTube. I'm very active on Facebook, but, I think I'm more inclined to be on Instagram and YouTube, so if you'd like to, I said this in another video, and I'm going to say it like this again because I think it's funny. If you would like to scroll and look at pictures of my circus of a life, then check out my Instagram. Moriah is not evil. That's with no capitalization. MORIAH is not evil. I also have a Twitter. I believe I'm just Mariah Harper on Twitter. And I have a Snapchat. Mar not evil. That's no capitalization. MAR is not evil. One word. No. Mar not evil. No is. MAR not evil. One word. And yeah, I know, so many variations on the silly name. If you want my YouTube information, Mariah is not evil at all. Or is she? Anyway, like I said, if you're a member of the trans community or the LGBTQ community in general, or just a gigantic ally, feel free to, and you have a story to share, please feel free to either leave a comment down below or give me a shout on my other contact info. And you guys, it would help if you were a little more active in the comment section, because I see that I do get views. If you can, every now and then, comment would be nice. Of course, you don't have to, but if you like a video that you see of mine, clicking the like button to let me know would be nice as well. Subscribing is even more optional. Sorry, subscribing is optional, but that also helps. I've recently reached 20 subscribers, and I think that I might say every 100 subscribers, if that sounds about right, I'm gonna have a celebration of some sort. I would say I'm going to make it bigger and bigger each time, but that might be a lie, because I don't know what I'm going to do for the celebration. But if I reach the 100 mark, I might just do a live stream. If I don't cave in and try to do one before then. I might do a live stream, mukbang, Q&A, Once I reach 100 subscribers, I'll let you guys know what I'm going to do. But I will probably make an upload first, telling you that I'm going to do said thing. It's a celebration of a celebration. Hallelujah! It's raining subs. Hallelujah! Sorry. So, I think I'm going to end this video here because I'm beginning to ramble about things that are not the exact subject of this video. But if you have suggestions or just comments in general, tell me down below. Subscribe and ring the bell if you like me enough, or if you like the videos enough, excuse me. Liking me and liking my content are two totally different things, I'll have you know. So, I guess that's it for now. I hope you have a great day, night, or afternoon, whoever or wherever you may happen to be. Wear masks in public. Don't be a fool. Do most of your food shopping online if you can. If you're a member of the LGBTQ community and going through a rough time with your family, you have my support. I know that's not much, but it's the best I can do. That's an Elton lyric. And if you're homeless, you have my support too. I've been there. I'm basically there right now anyway. I might not always be able to pay for another week in this hotel, excuse me. But yeah, like I said, Crystal, if you'd like to be on my channel, talk about gender nonconformity, please, or gender fluidity, please tell me, and I'll get back with you. Anyway, have a great day, night, or afternoon, whoever or wherever you may happen to be. I promise that next time I upload a trans life video, it's gonna be more of a it's gonna stay more on topic. So I love you guys. Until next time, this is Mariah Harper signing out. Mwah! Big kisses this time. Mwah, mwah, mwah.